Good evening. We're about to do a 1-year review on our Solo Stove Yukon. We bought this about 1.5 years ago. And we've used it a couple dozen times. It's held up really well. I've had some folks ask me how it's doing, and I thought I would take the opportunity, since the weather is just about perfect, to show how this is going. Now, we went ahead and we bought the shield, the spark arrestor. I'll set that to the side. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. I store it with everything turned upside down, sitting in there with the Solo Stove cover on top of it. Whenever I finish with the fire, the next day I cherry pick out the coals so I can get it started with those coals and burn them up later on. But let's look at how this thing has held up over 1 year and a couple dozen fires. Now there's just a little bit of a patina of rust there that comes right off with the fire. There's no problems whatsoever. This thing is still really solid. If you pick it up and you look at the bottom of it, I store it on the fire ring on the grass. I have no problems whatsoever. Nice and solid, no issues. I'm not showing any rust on it. You got the patina from the fire. The ring has held up really well. There's no corrosion. Whenever we're gonna have a fire, I bring it over here to the edge of our driveway, but usually it's stored over there in the grass. I'm gonna load it up and we're gonna get a fire going. We'll talk about the different features of it and how I think they've held up and whether or not I'd buy it again. I know a lot of folks use a lot of different little campfire methods to get it going. I'm not trying to showcase my survival fire starting skills. I'm just trying to get this thing going. That's why I use a can of MAP gas. It'll heat up enough that it'll recirculate the heat through these chambers right here. Because this is a double wall stainless steel. It'll pull the heated air up, mix that in with the smoke, and it'll burn off a lot of the smoke, which is why you get a relatively smoke-free fire once it's going. Now this is the older version of the Yukon, which is a full 30 inches. I believe the newer version is 27 inches across. Now, as you can see from the wide expanse here, I have plenty of wood that's going to fall on a regular basis. In fact, this wood that we're burning tonight, in addition to some cutoffs, some untreated pine cutoffs from the house that we're building, we're also burning a deciduous tree that fell across the road about a month ago. I don't know what kind it is. It's beech or poplar, one, but it's free, and so we're going to burn it up. Now, while this fire is building, let me talk about a couple of the things that we bought with the Solo Stove. I went ahead and bought the Solo Stove shelter. Now, I did not clean it up specifically so that I could show people how it's holding up. I don't have it under any kind of cover. It stays out here in the yard. A couple times a year, we come out and I spray it down. I've sprayed it down with some cleaner and rubbed it down with a rag. It comes up clean, but it is fading in the sun. The little emblem has a little bit of fade to it, but it's out in the sun. It's held up, it's still really strong, there are no tears, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's taken the brunt of any effects that weather would have on the Solo Stove, and this gets aged and that doesn't. With the Solo Stove, there was a fire ring that came with it. That fire ring was replaced by this one when we got the Solo Stove shield. There's a little warpage from heat, but once we put it on there, it settles in. Put the shield on top of it, there's no issues. The shield itself has not warped. It's held up very well, and I don't hold back on the fires when I'm burning them. I throw a lot of wood in this thing and burn it up. If you're gonna have a Solo Stove for the backyard and you don't have a whole lot of wood available to you, you might want to go with a smaller stove, because this thing is not at all stingy with the wood. It burns it up real quick. And once that wood burns down a little bit, I'll put the top piece to the shield on there. And once the coals build up and the heat builds up, you'll start to see that smoke burn off. So questions that continue to come up are how much heat comes off of this thing. Once you get the fire going real well, you get a lot of heat when you're standing up. Once I sit down, I feel the heat from it hit me right about here. Down on my calves, it's not bad. It's warm. You're gonna burn your tail, dog. It's warm, but it's not hot right here. Now, if you had an open fire pit, it would definitely be hot, throwing a lot of heat right there. You can feel quite a bit of heat right here. Big difference. I've had people ask, do I think it would serve them well for a full wintertime fire pit? My thought is probably not. Usually the springtime and the fall is when I'm out here the most, and this serves me well. As I said, I'm going to burn up these pine cutoffs from the house built. We accumulate quite a stack of those.
Good. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sit right next to it because it's not warm out here.
No, it is not. It's chilly. It's nice though.
I know. Don't you want your coat?
No, I got fire.
Oh my god, it feels great though. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. Get my cold sheet.
You'll be okay.
Okay. Alright, I'll be back.
Alright, love you. Drive careful. Now on the edges of the fire, you can see those reburn chambers have heated up enough. They're starting to burn off some of that smoke. And as I said, it's a relatively smokeless fire. I don't think you're going to get a 100% smokeless fire, but it's certainly not like your normal fire pit where the smoke chases you around all night. With the world being the way it is right now, it's nice to sit around the fire and just kind of relax a little bit. Well, you're gonna catch yourself on fire.
No, I'm not. Oh my gosh, it feels amazing.
You also don't have on but a sweatshirt, so.
No, it's true.
It's 30 degrees out, so.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh. Winter hit.
Grandmother had a house.
As you can see, I put the shield cover on the top of it, and that keeps the embers from popping out while the fire is burning. It does a really good job, and by the time the fire dies down some and I'm ready to go in for the evening, I feel pretty confident that nothing's going to pop out of there and cause any problems.
How old were they when that happened?
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
So he moved. Good morning. Last night, as you saw, we had a nice fire here in the Solo Stove, and I just want to show, I haven't even touched this yet since last night. I just want to show what's left of all the wood that we had stacked up here. All that's left, I don't really need the tool here, I just happened to grab it. All that's left in here is some ash, a very small amount of ash. It really burns everything up. It does an amazing job. I know a lot of times when you got a fire pit, the next day you come out and you get a lot of charcoal, a lot of pieces that didn't burn up. This just burns up almost completely. The shield is still in great shape. That's just got some ash on it. But the shield is in great shape. And I gotta say, after a year and a couple dozen fires, this thing has done really well. I got to give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, just throw them in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them. So I split that wood down there in the field, and then I stacked it and brought it back in the back of the truck.
Yeah. I like that. It's with the axe you split it?
That axe that Matt and
Cheers.
Matt and his friend didn't properly put on there. They swung toward the car because it's coming off. Sooner or later the head's coming off that thing, and I'm gonna have to fix it. Well, I mean, it is. They know they were kids. They were 16, 17 years old. They were industrious enough to put the head on an axe. That's, you know, this was that. It is what it is. You got to be honest about it.